Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. HDM here with some PTS patch notes for the Stonethorn DLC. The patch notes have just dropped today on Monday. So checking out this new dungeon DLC and lots of changes as far as class balance. That's what we'll be talking about in this video. I'll have a separate video coming out soon talking about item set changes. Tons of changes as far as itemization. So let's jump into it. Keep in mind, one of the focuses for this patch has been server performance, and we'll see that with both the class balance changes as well as the item set changes, doing things like removing proc set chances and standardizing some AoE effects. Then also just kind of overall quality of life changes as far as what each class is going to see here. So starting with the Dragon Knight class, under Ardent Flame, just some fixes to Dragon Knight Standard, fix an issue with a visual effect, and Shifting Standard, fix an issue where the ability would last longer than intended. For Inhale, Deep Breath, this morph's Explosion now deals more damage, so 25% more. And then Draw Essence, which is the healing morph. This morph now heals up to 147% of the damage done, up from 100%. So a little bit of a buff there. Now under Necromancer, fix an issue with tether abilities, which could sometimes cause your character to turn around and face the opposite direction. Sounds good. Shocking Siphon. So Detonating Siphon, that's the stamina morph. This ability's final explosion now occurs when the tether ends for any reason, rather than only if the final duration was met. That's good, so if you cast this early again, you'll still get the final explosion, it sounds like. And then under Bone Tyrant Grave Grasp, this ability has received significant improvements to its functionality. The first area now snares enemies by 30%. The second area now immobilizes enemies for 4 seconds. And then the final area now stuns enemies up to 3 seconds. So it sounds very similar to the Templar defensive skill. Each area continues to apply minor maim, so that's the main difference there, and it is AoE. Ghostly Embrace. So this morph now increases the duration of all negative effects. Okay, and then Empowering Grasp. The Empower now lasts for 5 seconds. Very interesting. I'll be checking that skill out for sure. Now, Nightblades. Nightblades actually got a lot of changes this patch. Some of these are looking okay. As far as Grim Focus, this ability and its morphs now grants 2% crit damage and healing per stack, rather than reducing your damage taken by 2% per stack. So last year, this buff got changed to be like defensive in terms of the stacking. Now it's offensive in order to help this ability feel more aggressive and assassination-oriented, so kind of going with the Nightblade theme for the class. I like it. Stacks removed from these abilities after ending combat will only be removed in PvP areas rather than all the time. Sounds good. And in Master Assassin, this passive weapon and spell damage is now granted to your damaging attacks against enemies you are flanking, rather than the universal amount while sneaking or invisible. Okay, interesting. So they are pushing kind of the flanking combat style for the Nightblade class, which is kind of unique if you think about it. The weapon and spell damage is now a flat value rather than being 10%. So interesting changes there for sure. Shadow Cloak fixed some issues here as far as detection, pots, and with the invisibility being removed. That's fine. Summon Shade. This ability and the Dark Shade morph can now be cast without a target, just like Shadow Image. And in Shadow Image, some fixes as far as collision, where your Shade could be used as a stepping stool, really? I didn't know that was happening. That's kind of funny. And then Siphoning Soul Shred, the ultimate, fixed an issue with this, and they also increased the range up to 30 meters, not bad. And then Strife, this change is interesting. So this is the base morph as well as Funnel Health, which is the 2-person healing morph. Increase the damage done by approximately 39% to ensure it adheres to heal over time standards. So I'm guessing because it does more damage, it now does more healing over time. So you may see an improvement there if you use that ability. Fix an issue applying heal over time even if the target dodged. Okay. All right, Sorcerer class changes next. This is huge, you guys. Starting with Crystal Shard in Dark Magic. They reduced the cast time of this ability to 800 milliseconds, down from a second. Good. Reduce the damage done from these abilities by 21%. Maybe not so good. Reduce the cost, though, down a little bit, down to 2,700. These abilities now have a new effect, you guys. When casting, after successfully casting your next non-ultimate ability within 3 seconds, costs 10% less. Kind of interesting, maybe a way to deal with Sorcerer Sustain there. Crystal Frags, here we go, the instant cast morph. This ability can now proc off itself. Slightly reduce the damage done, and introduced a safety window after activating the proc to help avoid immediately queuing the base version. Okay. All right, so that's Crystal Fragments. Now, Crystal Blast, the other morph, the AoE morph, basically. This ability has been reworked into a stamina morph and renamed Crystal Weapon. It's now instant cast, causes your next light or heavy attack made within 4 seconds to deal additional damage, equal to the standard spammable amount, so like Lava Whip or Veiled Strike. Enemies hit by this ability also have their armor reduced by 1,000. So that's it. Stamsorks now have a class spammable, I guess. It'll be interesting to see how this works. It sounds kind of like Elemental Weapon from the Psijic Order skill line. I definitely want to check this out. But interesting. I also like the fact that it reduces armor. That's kind of unique. I also really want to see what this looks like. Very, very cool. In case, this now restores 60% of the ability cost if targets are not immobilized. Sounds good. And then Daedric Summoning. All pets from the skill line now use a mix of spell damage and max magicka rather than purely max magicka to reduce stacking into a single stat. Okay. Rebate. This passive now restores up to 300 magicka or stamina. Oh, interesting. Determined by the ability cost when one of your Daedric Summoning abilities ends, rather than when your pet dies. Okay, so this is actually kind of cool. Maybe another way for sustain to happen on the Sorcerer. So I'm guessing this applies to like Hardened Ward or even Bound Armaments, which is a stamina skill. So you can get some of that magicka or stamina back. Interesting. Then some changes to our pets here. Summon Familiar, fix an issue with the AoE, higher chance of concussion than intended. Okay. Volatile, fix an issue with the stun. Clan Fear. This ability's special ability is now halved when healing itself, so it has less healing, I guess. Fix an issue where the taunt was cast on global cooldown, which could result in lower DPS. Okay. Storm Calling, Bolt Escape, just a couple fixes here for this ability. So, interesting changes overall for the Sorcerer. Lots going on with the Crystal Frags skill. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section, especially if you play a Stamsork. Will you be using that new spammable ability? Now, moving on to the Templar class. Lots of changes, actually, for Templar. Maybe even a few nerfs. Let's see. Burning Light. This passive has been reworked so that the damage now triggers when you deal damage 4 times within rapid succession with an Aedric Spear ability rather than the proc. Remember, they are trying to remove as many proc chances as possible this patch. Note that the time window is long enough that abilities that hit at least once every second between will continue to proc. So as long as you're dealing damage every 1 second, let's say with Blazing Spear on the ground, is that 1 second or 2 seconds? Jabs will still proc this for sure, but it won't be a chance now. It'll be every 4 hits. Interesting. Puncturing Strikes reduce the tick frequency slightly. Here, 333 milliseconds down from 300 to better sync the damage and animation. Puncturing Sweeps, the Magicomorph. Fix an issue with the heal where the healing was based on the initial hit rather than the amount of damage done to each target, reducing in a reduction of healing when hitting multiple targets. Okay. So maybe that'll be better. We'll see. Radial Sweep, the ultimate. This ultimate and its morphs now have a cast time. Everybody's favorite thing, cast time ultimates, to better sync their damage as well as adding counterplay. Okay. So there you go. Another cast time ultimate now for the Templar. Backlash, fix some issues here with the damage and the tooltip. Restoring Light and Cleansing Ritual. Ritual of Retribution, this morph now sacrifices its healing potential for the damage, rather than adding damage on top of the healing. So this sounds like it will not heal you anymore, or your group. It was a very strong AoE heal. The damage now increases by 5% each tick for the duration, up to 35%. So quite a lot of damage on that morph. So that'll be interesting if people decide to still use that without the heal. Healing Ritual has a cost reduction. That's good. Though they did decrease the healing of the ability by 25%. So there's a new AoE healing standard, apparently. And this is going to match that. In Lightweaver, this passive has been updated. So healing an ally under 50% of any restoring light ability restores ultimate, rather than 60% with Healing Ritual. Okay, so any skill in the skill line, I guess. No longer extends the duration of restoring aura. Okay, that's fine. Warden. Got an update to Swarm, just a bug fix here on Growing Swarm. So you should now be able to cast this while you're silenced, since it is a stamina ability. Makes sense. And then Green Balance, Healing Seed. The synergy from this ability no longer counts as a Green Balance skill. That also makes sense. Budding Seeds, just some fixes here with the morph. Okay. Then we got some weapon skill changes. Let's talk about those as well. So Destro Staff fixed an issue with heavy attacks from Lightning Staff, causing you to stutter in some cases. That's good. Fixed an issue with the Trifocus passive and Battle Spirit. Fix an issue where this attack could also proc the Concuss status effect. Okay. Dual-wield fixed an issue where light attacks did not break stealth. Restoration Staff fixed the issue with stuttering again on that heavy attack. Then two-handed weapons, Stampede. This morph now causes the initial hit to deal AoE damage. And Reverse Slice fix an issue with Battle Spirit. Looks good. Heavy armor, just a quick fix here. Quick change to immovable. This morph now ranks up in duration of major resolve rather than CC immunity. Interesting. Now, look, going down to vampire skills. Vampires definitely needed some updates this patch. Let's see if they got them. Fix an issue where two vampires could feed on the same target at the same time. Okay. Blood Scion, the Swarming Scion morph, fixed an issue where it did not display a telegraph. Okay, that's good. And fix an issue where it could not break stealth. Okay. Eviscerate, this is the vampire spammable. Maybe some nerfs here. Let's see. Decrease the execute multiplier of this and arterial burst to 33%, down from 50%. Definitely a nerf there on the damage. And then Blood for Blood, the health costing morph. Decrease the execute multiplier to 60%, down from 100. Wow. Pretty big morph there on the scaling. This ability now ranks up in 5% increments per rank. And look at this. After casting this ability, you cannot be healed by allies for 5 seconds. So you'll need to maintain your own health. Pretty much if you're using that as a spammable DPS skill. Misform, just a quick fix here with, looks like the appearance. That's fine. Werewolf. Werewolves are looking pretty good, to be honest. Call of the Pact, fix an issue where your direwolves were not counting towards that passive in some cases, so that's good. They fixed that. Pounce. Add a failsafe for this ability and its morphs to reduce situations where you could become locked out from using Carnage. And then Brutal Pounce, fix an issue with the AoE. Roar has a fix as well. Fix an issue where the attack speed from this ability was applying to things other than heavy attacks. Interesting. And then Alliance, where we all heard about this one. Vigor, this ability is now the first in the skill line to unlock. And the swap places with Rapid Maneuvers. Vigor is first. Rapid Maneuvers, you're not going to get that right away. You're going to have to do some PvP in order to unlock that skill. I don't know about the change. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section below. I know just as many people who want the skill line for Rapids and don't need Vigor. People who want Vigor and don't need Rapids. So, I don't know. Let us know what you think about that one. But with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this video as far as hitting all the class and skill balance changes. Some major changes here that I did not expect. I didn't expect a new Stamsork spammable. I'll be checking that out for sure. And then some interesting changes as far as Nightblades and Templars are concerned. More updates are coming later this week on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you don't miss anything. If you liked the video today, don't forget to like it. And let us know what you think in the comments section below. Till then, stay safe, and I will see you around. in the next video.